1030 KVOI, The Voice.
Oh, yeah. That's a breakfast quesadilla if I've ever had one. Welcome back to Talking Culture on a Tuesday morning. Thanks to Andy and Eric for being in, and we will welcome them back very soon. But for right now, we are going to talk to John and Katrina from Gap Ministries. John and Katrina, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome and thanks for being here. A little bit about Gap Ministries. I'm just going to read some stuff that I found. Gap Ministries is a nonprofit, faith-based social service agency located in Tucson, Arizona. The mission of Gap Ministries is to impact one life at a time, to provide hope, help, and healing to those in need, in keeping with our mission to serve orphans, widows, the hungry, and naked. Gap Ministries stands in the gap for our community in the following areas. Gap has 14 residential family-style splash homes where they provide 24-hour care to children 0 to 21 years of age who are placed with them through CPS. It is their mission to shelter children who have been abused and neglected, to show them love and acceptance. They believe there is a mandate that requires them to defend the causes of the orphan, the widow, the hungry, and naked, providing hope and healing. Katrina, you're the finance manager with Gap Ministries.
So I was.
Oh, you were?
Yes, I was. Now I'm the kitchen program manager.
Oh, okay. Excellent. So talk to me about how you got involved with Gap.
So I came aboard with Gap about 3.5 years ago and into finance. And recently, in the last 3 months, they approached me and asked me if I would be interested in working with the curriculum and the culinary school. And I jumped on board. My heart leapt. I knew that that's a passion where I wanted to be.
So the culinary thing, that's what we're here to talk about today. John, and is it John Hone?
John Hone, yes, correct.
John Hone. So you are a former Tucson Iron Chef winner, 2014, am I correct?
That is correct. I like to still hold the title. You know, we'll still call President Obama president. So
right. That's true.
I'll keep the title.
All right. Tucson Iron Chef winner John Hone in with us. Did you compete again in 2015?
I did, and
sorry.
I unfortunately did not succeed in the way that most people wanted me to.
Okay. But you are here, and so you made a pretty radical career move out of a restaurant industry and into Gap Ministries. Talk to us about that career change.
It was amazing. I got a phone call and to be interested in the job and thought about it. Someone called me and said, "Hey, do you know anyone that would like to be a chef of a foster care ministry?" And I'm like, I'm not sure. I doubt it. Let me look around. Then I started thinking about it, talked about to a couple people, and then I got interested because myself and my wife were foster parents, and
cool.
We're also Christians. We also believe in the mandate of Gap that we are supposed to do these things, feed the orphan, the widows, the orphans, and feed the hungry, and so it just made perfect sense. Obviously, we have all this fame and fortune out there in the restaurant business. It is hard work, but it is rewarding in its own way. But it just made perfect sense. It was totally fit for me.
So you cook meals for how many people on a regular basis?
Well, another interesting reason I went to Gap is because of the Flowing Wells schools that we serve. I actually went to Centennial Elementary when I was a kid, and that's one of the schools that we feed a hot meal on Mondays. We serve 1,000 kids a week a hot dinner in Flowing Wells and Amphi elementary schools.
And it's a hot dinner. That's not a hot lunch. Talk to us about that.
Correct. So, as Gap likes to fill in the gap for those in need, they saw different needs. Well, people who are in low income, let's say $17,000 a year, those children get a free breakfast at school. They get a free lunch at school. But what do they do for dinner? Maybe they have a single mom at home that's working when they get off, and they throw in a pizza in the microwave, those little Tostino pizzas or a ramen. So we saw a gap that there might be a dinner need. So we go into these schools about 4:15. We start serving them. It's a very well-balanced nutritional dinner. So you have your fruit, you have your milk, you have your protein, you have your vegetable, and it's just amazing. We also have a dining room. Feel free to stop by for a free lunch.
Yes.
Where is that?
That's at Miracle Mile in Flowing Wells, 2861 North Miracle Mile. And so we serve about 80 people a day there.
Wow. Are you there most days?
I am.
Okay.
I am. I got to be there for this culinary school.
Well, so that's so the macro, but the micro is this new culinary training program where you're taking disadvantaged adults and you're taking them through a 10-week course, and you're going to give them the skills to now go in and be gainfully employed at a restaurant. Tell me about that program, Katrina.
So we are working with a population of people who are economically challenged, whether they're unemployed or underemployed. They come into the school. It's an extensive program with job, life skills. We do an extensive finance class. And then the most important part is to give them the skills so that they can go into the food industry. So we do have some eligibility requirements. They must be able to commit for this solid 10 weeks. Of course, they're not employed during that time. So, they have to have means of a way to live, shower, and take care of their personal things. So the people that are the organizations in Tucson that have partnered with us, they came and toured. They understand the mission of GAP and where our heart was to go out and to work with these persons with limited resources. And so they have also extended some of their programs so that the people can remain in the facilities that they're staying at during this whole 10 weeks. And then we have this amazing culinary side, so we're very, very blessed to have two very, very talented and gifted chefs. And they have awesome backgrounds, a great network of people. So these students are afforded an opportunity to really be able to see things, experience things, and learn from these great chefs and the chefs that they invite as guests. So I'll let John talk more about that.
Yeah, so John Honan, this is Talking Culture. We're talking to Gap Ministries, and we're talking a little bit more in depth about their culinary training program, which is a 10-week program for disadvantaged adults. John, you're not just teaching them cooking. It sounds like you take a little bit more of a mentorship role, or there's a possibility for that.
Definitely. Payment and Greg Ayers, at Gap Ministries, they had this amazing visions, but they saw a gap in the need for food. So we have a pantry. We donate thousands of pounds of food a week. They saw a need for kids who don't have parents or are in foster care. They saw that need. Then they see all these needs, and one of the needs was, all right, let's just use the word poverty. We have this poverty problem. How do we solve it? Let's give them food. Okay, that's good. Let's do this. That's good. But let's change lives, because we actually believe that the only way to change someone's life is through Jesus Christ. And so and the only way to change the poverty is to help them get skills, whether it's education and or practical skills. So that's why we teach them the finance, the life skills, and then the culinary skills, not only through word but in deed. So not only just teaching them a lecture, but also showing them with this small size, class size. So it is totally mentorship, and Katrina and Cassandra Quintero really pour their lives into these people. We're going to build these relationships for a lifetime, not just for these 10 weeks. So it's amazing.
Well, we were talking this morning about the enormity of the problems in this world and the brokenness of people and poverty and all these different things that afflict people. And it can cause someone to despair when you look at our city, even if you drive down Grant Road near Algernon, you go, wow, this is really dilapidated. And what I really like in what I'm reading about your mission statement is the mission of Gap Ministries is to impact one life at a time. And so you start there, and you can't. That's the only place to start. But that's the only way to, I think, really have an impact. And I can get lost in the enormity of it all. But I really like that you guys are just stepping forward and saying, okay, yeah, there's problems. Where can we impact? Where can we? Okay, we can step in here. If we can change the life of one person, of a handful of people in a 10-week culinary program. Okay, now we're injecting good things into our society. And so I really like that.
I know you talked about Grant, but it's very interesting going to these schools. Some of these schools, like for example Walter Douglas on Miracle Mile, on Flowing Wells. When we leave that place after serving these kids, there's trailers across the street that have broken windows that people live in that have been broken since last year that I've seen. It's very, very disheartening and Some people look at the big picture. How do we change the big picture? But you're right. It is kind of doing that one person at a time, each person individually.
Yeah, you change one life, you change the whole world, because you've changed the whole world for that one life. We are talking to the folks from Gap Ministries, and specifically Katrina and John. And John, as we mentioned earlier in this segment, is was a Tucson Iron Chef winner, and is an accomplished chef in his own right. John, I'm curious, what's your favorite type of food to cook?
I guess probably see, I don't really follow rules, so I have to change the question. I have to say my favorite is sushi. So at least
really? Sushi chef.
How about the cooking the rice? But no, I love raw food. I love the sushi, the balance of it. I love everything. I love to cook everything. Being around cooking in Tucson since '95, I've had a wide variety of different types of cuisines and different types of foods. So I love it all. But I also would say that I'm not a chef that cooks just for myself. I'm someone who cooks for other people. So even if I'm making mac and cheese for the kids this week, that's my favorite food to cook right now, because I know that for them, they like it. So
okay. I was reading an interview that you had done a while back with the Daily Star. You were the chef du jour one day for the Daily Star, and they asked you a number of questions. And one of the most interesting answers you gave was to the question, if you were to have your final meal, you only got to have one more meal, what would you prepare and what would you have?
The Passover. No, right? That's what I said, right?
Yeah.
But that's amazing. Like, so if you think
the Last Supper.
If you think about food in general, even the Bible talks a lot about food. Obviously, we all need it to live. But if you think about the specifics of the Passover and what that meant, or in our terms, the Last Supper, every dish meant something. This bitter herb was for the bitterness of whatever happened, or the mortar of the bricks of Egypt, and so there was so much meaning behind it. So I think, I'm just trying to be a follower of Jesus. That was his last meal. That'll be mine.
This is Talking Culture. That's John Hoan, Tucson Iron Chef winner, but also culinary chef at Gap Kitchen. Katrina Fristow also in with us. I have to ask, John, how often are you making your fried guacamole for the kids? Does that come up? And it can't be good for you.
Oh, everything I make is good for you.
I've got a quote from you, and it says, you said, you only make food better two ways. One, you add bacon, or two, you fry it.
Exactly.
Like, these don't seem like healthy practices. They seem like delicious practices.
Yeah. No, just do it in moderation. Here's your water with your fried guac. You'll be good. Just take away that soda.
No, but you invented this fried guacamole thing, right?
Right.
Did you patent it, or?
No, I didn't, but I should. I also invented grilled lemonade. So anyone want to invest? Let's do it.
Grilled lemonade?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I make the guac, probably about once a month or once every couple months, but not for the kids.
Yourself?
No, never.
No, never. Okay.
No way.
Cool.
So the guacamole, my wife's favorite food is guacamole, and how do you make it better? Let's fry it. How do you make it creative? How do you make it unique? And then same thing with the lemonade. It was, I made a shandy out of it. So I was thinking, okay, well, that's great. Shandies are good, but what if I were to grill these lemons? That would be kind of cool. Get that little smoky taste to it. Not too overpowering, but just that'd be kind of cool and unique. So let's do it.
Cool. Well, Katrina, John, thank you for your time this morning. Thank you for what you're doing for our city, what you're doing for the kingdom. And we wish you all the best moving forward with that and with this program. We're in week 3 of the program. Is it the first program we've done, or is it the second time around?
We're week 4, day 2.
Week 4, day 2.
We just had Ben Forbes butcher a whole pig. We had Dave Martin from Red Desert Catering do a food truck class. So we've done a lot of cool stuff. Week 4, day 3.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, come back with us on Talking Culture. We didn't get to the sad airport news, but you can guess by now what it might be, and that we'll have that, and we'll take it home after the break.